Hello friends, welcome to the Reading Mindset. Today, we're talking about Life Can Be Good Again by Lisa Appelo. It was 2 a.m. A gentle breeze blew outside, and everything was quiet in their suburban home. Inside, the house seemed normal. Emily had gone to bed laughing with her husband, Michael. Exhausted from the day, they planned to take the kids to the park the next morning. No worries, no fears, everything felt perfect. But who could have known that in a few hours, everything would turn upside down? Emily woke suddenly. Michael's breathing sounded strange. She shook him, called out, but got no response. Terrified, she called 911. The ambulance arrived in 10 minutes, but it was too late. The doctor shook his head and said, "I'm sorry." In that moment, Emily's life took a turn she never imagined. 1 second, she was a strong wife, the next, a broken, confused woman. The confident planner was lost in her own world, consumed by an emptiness no noise could fill. She remembered Michael's words, "Don't worry, I've got this." He was her shield, her safe place. He now gone. Friends and family visited, offered sympathy, patted her shoulder, but nothing made sense. Words were audible but meaningless, like the world was on mute. They say time heals, but when loss is so deep, time feels frozen. Mornings were terrifying. Awaking to Michael's empty pillow. Seeing her kids' faces broke her heart. How could she tell them their dad was never coming back? Slowly, Emily tried to pull herself together, but without direction. Some days, she felt things might be okay, others, like nothing was left. Making a grocery list brought tears as she no longer needed Michael's favorite chips. Simple moments turned emotional. One day, she pulled out old photo albums, wedding pictures, vacation memories, kids' first steps. Instead of breaking, she realized her pain was real, and she didn't need to run from it. This was her shocking shift, from a secure comfort zone to survival mode. Loss taught her that ignoring grief isn't right, feeling it is necessary. Only by fully feeling it could she heal. Emily told herself, "I'm broken, but I can build something new from my pieces." She started small, making lunch for the kids, paying bills, answering calls, tasks Michael once handled at their family's small business, Maple Street Hardware. She was scared but did them anyway. That was the biggest step, moving forward despite fear. Weeks later, she joined a local grief support group at the community center, where she met Sarah, who'd lost her sister. Sarah said, "We're not alone in our grief, and we don't need to look strong." This sank in. Everyone's grief is unique, but confusion, sadness, and identity loss are common. Emily realized these were phases, each with its own time. Healing isn't a timeline, it's a personal journey. Gradually, Emily learned to live with Michael's memories. She still cried, but without guilt. She laughed without blaming herself. Moving on didn't mean forgetting, it meant carrying memories forward. Emily's story is like many ordinary Americans facing unexpected loss, yet finding extraordinary courage to live on. Honesty is key, being truthful with emotions, accepting grief, and allowing healing at your own pace. Today, Emily works part-time at a local bookstore, attends her kids' school events, and sometimes sips coffee alone at Starbucks. Michael's photo is always in her wallet. Life isn't the same, but it can still have meaning. This journey made her a new persona, one who embraces pain instead of hiding it. That's the biggest lesson after a life-altering event. You break, scatter, but find strength to live again. Emily's story is relatable because we all face moments when life changes suddenly. In those moments, we crave someone who understands. Someone who says it's okay to not be okay. Like Emily, many go through loss and slowly learn to live with it. The journey is painful but teaches that no part of life is permanent in either joy nor sorrow. If you liked our free summary, subscribe to our channel, buy our membership, or support us via PayPal. Back to the summary. What's permanent is our ability to adapt, survive, and thrive. If you're facing a shocking loss, remember you're not alone. Healing isn't linear, you'll feel strong, then break again, but rising is always possible. Life breaks you, but it rebuilds you slowly, gently, beautifully. Months passed. Emily gradually took on daily tasks of paying utility bills with Dominion Energy, handling school forms, managing accounts at Wells Fargo. Each small task reminded her of Michael, but she no longer feared these reminders. Her heart grew heavy at times, but she understood the emotion now. One evening, sitting on the porch watching the sunset, she sent the kids to the playground. Holding her old journal where she once wrote vacation plans, she wrote, "Nothing will ever be the same again." This was the truth, and accepting it was her new reality. Life would never be the same. Early on, Emily hoped time would rewind, making everything normal. But as time passed, she realized what was lost was gone forever. Living with that loss was her new life. People say time heals, but some things don't heal, you just learn to live with them. Emily understood her new normal, planning kids' birthdays without Michael, seeing his empty chair at family dinners, missing his energy during Thanksgiving. Once, while helping her son Ethan with a school project of a family tree, he softly asked, "Should I write Dad's name?" Emily paused, eyes teary, but smiled and said, "Yes, honey, Dad will always be part of our family." That day, she realized relationships don't end with loss if they take a new form. Emily told herself daily, "I can miss the life we had, but I can embrace the life I have now." She held on to old things less, keeping Michael's jackets, watch, favorite novel, and their first concert ticket in a memory box as sacred mementos. At Kroger, the cashier casually said, "Looks like you are alone today. You usually come with your husband." Emily's heart stopped briefly, but she smiled lightly and said, "Yes, I shop alone now." A small moment, but it showed her world had changed, and she was enduring it. Emily shifted priorities, making decisions alone once discussed with Michael, now internal dialogues. She listened to a new inner voice, offering clarity over fear. She learned not to wait for the old normal but to understand and walk with the new one. Holidays weren't as bright, but she brought cheer back for her kids. During Christmas, she baked cookies, decorated the house, and smiled while hanging lights, knowing something was missing but needing to create a new reality for her children. One day, she told her friend Lauren, "I'm not the old Emily anymore." Lauren was surprised, but Emily continued, "I'm the Emily who makes decisions alone, rises after breaking, and embraces change instead of denying it." Lauren said, "You seem stronger than before." Emily's journey wasn't cinematic, no dramatic twists or magical healing. Just small moments, coffee alone at Dunkin' after dropping kids at school, revisiting old playlists, writing in her journal. These built a new life with old memories and new responsibilities. She understood some losses are permanent, and living means accepting that. Hoping for the old life only brings pain. Accepting change lets you adapt. At a pediatrician's visit with Ethan, Emily saw a couple laughing. Her heart ached, glimpsing her old life, but she observed the emotion instead of suppressing it. She thought, "Yes, I was once like that, and now I'm Nota, and that's okay." Emily grew empathetic, understanding others' grief. She knew "I'm fine" wasn't always true, so she opened up, sitting silently with others at church groups, knowing that was enough. She started a blog, writing, "I'm not here with solutions. I'm here to say you're not alone. I've felt the grief in your eyes." Emily's story became more than loss, it was a new beginning, sparked by accepting its truth, paving her way forward. She told herself often, "I'm not the same, and that's my greatest strength." This truth wasn't easy but necessary. The old life was gone, and she had to move forward with that reality. Emily learned healing begins when you stop waiting and start living today. She woke each morning, not chasing old dreams, but accepting the new diacom, chaotic, but always a fresh chance. This was her new truth, her new normal, and she'd learned to live with it. Emily's life moved at a new pace. Decisions once shared with Michael now rested on her shoulders. She was coping, but questions kept her awake at night. The biggest, if God is good, why did this happen? One evening, sitting outside her church during her kids' youth group, she sought peace. A hymn played, With you by my side, what's lacking? Yet, Emily felt, then why this void? Her faith hadn't broken but felt fragile. Michael always said, God has a plan, we just trust. Emily wondered if this was God's plan, and if it was good. She recalled her old Bible study group at Grace Community Church and opened her journal, finding Jeremiah 29:11. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. Familiar yet new, she asked, can I believe this today? Can I trust a plan so different from mine? That day, she stepped out of her comfort zone, rejoining her Bible group. Hesitant or worried about judgment or relating as she was embraced by her friend Rachel, who said, you were missed. Sharing her story, Emily admitted, I don't fully understand God's plan, but I know there's purpose in what happened. She realized God's plans sometimes lead where we don't want to go, but that's where we grow most. Michael's death broke her, yet revealed new strength. Observing her kids, she saw Ethan mature, helping his sister, showing unexpected responsibility. He once said, Dad's absence hurts, but I feel I can do anything. Emily teared up, sensing this was the unseen plan in making her kids responsible early. Walking in the park, Emily saw a woman crying. She approached and learned she lost her husband to cancer, feeling life was meaningless. Emily held her hand, saying, I know how it feels, I've walked the path. She understood God's plan might include using her pain to give others hope. Her grief became a tool for healing. On her blog, she wrote a post, When God's Plans Hurt, saying, God's plans differ from ours but are always better. Painful, confusing, but with unseen wisdom. I still question, but I don't need every answer now. Emily's morning shifted. Her old prayer, God, fix everything, became, God, show me how to grow in this. She didn't pray for changed circumstances but for strength to adapt. Seeing her son's drawing of their family with Michael as an angel watching over, she felt God's plan included her kids' journey. True happiness, she learned, isn't pain's absence but trusting despite it. Emily's life wasn't perfect, loneliness and empty holidays lingered, but her steady faith knew her purpose was to inspire through her story. She told Rachel, Jeremiah 29:11 isn't just hope and future, it's a daily reminder God's plan unfolds, even when I don't understand. Emily saw each day as a gift, a lesson. Her faith wasn't about everything being okay but trusting God's presence. She knew the road wasn't easy, but she wasn't alone in her faith, experiences, and an invisible hand held her. This was God's plan, unexpected, painful, but deeply meaningful. When Emily said, trust God's plan, it carried her journey's weight, finding purpose and peace in pain. Emily's life found balance, awaking, sending kids to school, working, park evenings, journal writing. Some days, her heart grew heavy, tears came without reason, and loneliness overwhelmed. One morning, nothing felt right, not coffee, sunlight, or her kids' laughter. She spent the day in silence, angry at herself, thinking, I was so strong, what's wrong today? Writing in her journal, she noted, maybe today was part of grief. She realized grief isn't a problem to solve but a process with ups and downs. People assume grief has a fixed timeline, but Emily learned it unfolds in layers: shock, sadness, guilt, fleeting joy, then guilt for feeling joy. She questioned, am I doing this right? Is crying a lack of faith? Does breaking mean I don't trust God? Slowly, she understood feeling pain isn't wrong, it means what was lost mattered. Telling Rachel, I'm down again, like I'm back to square one, Rachel smiled. Grief isn't linear, Emily. It's a circle: forward, backward, up, down. Emily had been too hard on herself. She gave herself patience, saying on bad days, this is part of the process. She allowed herself to grieve without guilt, cry without explanation. When Ethan said, Dad would have helped with my science project, Emily's heart ached. Instead of hiding tears, she let them flow. She once showed strength for her kids, now she knew expressing grief wasn't weakness but truth. Grief became a guest, arriving, staying, leaving, sometimes returning, like rain bringing a new scent to the earth. Grief couldn't be fast-forwarded. Healing meant sitting with pain, facing it, moving forward slowly. On her blog, Emily wrote, "If you cry today, you haven't failed. You're human. Grief isn't an exam to pass, it's a personal journey." Comments poured in. People shared broken hearts and small healing steps. Emily felt less alone, gaining courage. She read others' stories, learning grief has no fixed pattern. Years for some, months for others, a lifetime for some. But every process is valid. Emily celebrated small wins, buying herself a cupcake after shopping alone at Target, laughing at a movie with her kids without guilt. She said, "Happiness doesn't dishonor Michael's memories, it's his strength in me." Grief wasn't a dark tunnel but a valley, a tough, yet revealing new views. Patience with pain was key. When asked, "Aren't you healed yet?" she smiled, "I'm not trying to heal, I'm trying to live." This defined her healing. She created a corner at home with Michael's photo, a candle, his book, and a plant. Each morning, she sat there 2 minutes, remembering him, saying, "I know you wanted me happy, I am trying." Emily's story became about embracing grief, not fearing it. Grief was an invitation to feel, grow, and live again. To those struggling, she said, "Take your time. Cry, pause, walk again. Your grief is yours, you deserve to feel it with love and patience." Pain didn't end faith, it deepened it. With this, Emily started each day broken but brave. Emily's life flowed like a calm wave. Storms once raged daily, now they were fewer. Pain lingered, but with depth. Grief wasn't an enemy but a companion, bringing her closer to herself. She learned life would never be the same. God's plans aren't always clear, and feeling pain isn't faith's absence but part of being human. One truth sustained her: she wasn't alone. When her daughter Olivia fell ill with a fever, Emily stayed up, tending to her, tears falling, missing Michael's partnership. Alone on the porch, she prayed, "God, hold me." Opening her Bible, she read Psalm 34:18, "The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit." Warmth filled her, like someone held her trembling hands. She realized every time she broke, fell, or tired, someone was there to lift her to God. Emily recalled how, after Michael's death, life continued. The kids ate, went to school, the house ran. She'd never driven alone now. She navigated the city confidently with her Honda CR-V. Bills once baffled her, now she managed payments through Chase Bank. This wasn't her strength but an unseen support at every step. God didn't just work big miracles, he held her through small steps. A friend's call when she was exhausted, a child's word making her laugh, a Bible verse sparking courage. God was there. When her car broke down on a quiet road, her phone dead, fear struck. An elderly man on a motorcycle offered, "I'll call a nearby mechanic from AutoZone," helped, and left without looking back. Emily wondered, was he an angel? God often sent help through people. She learned to feel God's presence in every moment. Prayer became a conversation, not a request list, a sharing fears, dreams, pain, feeling heard. Emily renamed her blog Carried by Grace, sharing small miracles, saying, "When you break, you realize who's holding you." A woman who lost her fiancé tilde copyright messaged, "Your post made me feel understood, I'm not alone." Emily realized her journey became a path for others. Each morning, she prayed, "God, this day is yours, carry me." Something always reminded her she wasn't alone, her strength came from God. Faith didn't mean fearlessness or never breaking, it meant knowing someone held her when she did. For Michael's death anniversary, Emily planned a prayer meet at her church, inviting those who'd supported her. Calmly, she said, "No one can replace Michael, but God never left me empty. He lifted me every step. I walk, not by my strength, but His." Her eyes held peace, like a clear sky post-storm. Pain remained but didn't define her. She was the woman who kept walking, carried by God. Reading Psalm 46:1, "God is our refuge and strength, an ever-present help in trouble." It became her life. Emily's story didn't end, it began where her faith deepened. She learned God is there in strength and weakness, lifting the weary. A new chapter began, one where the broken walk, the tired smile, because someone always carries them. Emily's journey was long, losing loved ones, battling herself, picking up broken dreams, learning to live anew. Michael's sudden death turned her safe, happy life into one of survival, confusion, loneliness. Yet, in that pain, she found truths no book could teach. She accepted the lost wouldn't return, life wouldn't be the same. God's plans, bigger and different, held hidden good. Grief was a process, not a problem to fix. When utterly broken, someone lifted her daily a God. Emily saw herself cry, laugh, fear, fight. Every tearful night, every smiling morning for her kids, proved healing isn't linear or backtracking, pausing, falling, rising. Grief wasn't an enemy but a guide, bringing her closer to herself and God. Faith didn't mean no sadness but knowing she wasn't alone in it. Her life lacked old colors but gained new light, peace, depth, trust. She was never alone. Her pain became strength. To broken hearts, she smiled, I know it's hard, but trust if someone holds you. Walk one step with me. Emily's story is hope for those fighting pain, a reminder you're never alone. Grief's beauty lies in the unseen hand holding you through darkness until you walk again. So, friends, that was today's book summary. Comment how you liked it, and thanks for listening till the end.